Oh, that's what you want to do. So that's what you want to do. A really new podcast behind the scenes right now. We are talking about how we want to do the podcast.
Yes.
Will be behind the scenes that will be real and natural and will show real us, not the coaches that know everything and will help you with everything.
So, yeah.
This is the truth. We don't know everything, and sometimes we ask questions.
I just love how when we come together every week that we really help one another, and it's so valuable, because not only do we help one another, we help ourselves in the process. And I just love how we each have our own, perspective on that to really support each other. And it's so beautiful. And I want that energy between us to come through, like that, like who we are. I want that authenticity of who we are together to come through. And I think that we hadn't done that so much, and when it's like we switched, like the recording side, and we felt it, like, right, we started recording and we all just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
So
how
I have to show myself like this or that the audience is very nice to me, and so
I think that between us, there is one person that can really help us with that. What the hell is happening with us when the recording button is on? And you know who I'm asking now.
And when you're being observing, when you are being observed, for example, when I was working in schools, we were observing the teachers every now and then, and we know that how great the teachers are. Brie, you've worked in schools, and suddenly when you go to observe, and they because they feel judged, they cannot perform as they would normally, and that's so sad because we're talking about amazing teachers, but this shows us how we perform when we don't feel safe. Sometimes that safety that we are seeking from others, really, it's just in us. It's just a matter of tapping into that place.
Mm-hmm. In the Montessori classroom, it's so interesting you brought that up. In the Montessori classroom, not all of them, but there were some schools, they would have like is it a one-way mirror? So
oh my goodness, like Psychologist.
you feel observed all the time.
You just don't know if someone's there or not, because it's for parents to observe, and their children aren't going to change the way that they're behaving. And it was so interesting because you really got like that perspective, and no one was self-conscious. You just, because you got used to the mirror, right? We didn't have that in the class I taught, but I did get to see it. I don't know.
I mean, it's amazing the comfort level that we have with each other, and somehow this is not transmitted to our audiences when we're doing our podcast. So the question for today is, how can this special interaction and the special connection that we all feel for each other, and we lift each other, helping each other, learning from each other, how can we transmit this to our viewers? That's the question, to make it as authentic as possible. That's what Michaela was saying. I was saying to Michaela, the suggestion was, let's just, because we also meet during our mastermind groups, and we talk openly about how we can reach to our clients, how we can, our shortcomings and things like that. And I was like saying, oh my God, I cannot record our mastermind groups because there are certain things that, I don't want people to know or my clients to know. And then you guys were so cool about it. Some of you were so cool about it. And I like that. And I'm not sure if I'm there yet. And I would love to be there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing what you're telling, Arlette, about the judging. The question is if really anybody is judging you for this, that we think we were judged. And it's interesting, where does it come from? I think it comes from school, because you take these notes, the teacher is judging you somehow at the first. So, and your parents are judging you. So that's not right what you are doing there. You don't do that, and it's such an inner program that you even that there are people, they think what people outside think about you. And for me, it was a long time I think, oh, what does this people or this woman or this man think about myself? They really think bad about me or something like, and you even don't know, you really don't know. The people are so with themselves that they don't look at each at other persons, you know.
I have noticed that I have this inner voice that tells me to go to the point. Come on, let's solve the challenge. Let's talk about the point. Let's get going, right? So I have this like this effective voice in me, like, hey, let's stop talking about. But what I also know that when I work with my client and also when I do lives in my Facebook group, that people are very curious about those little side roads, like personal experiences, you know, some more intimate things from my own life, how I can connect the topic with some interesting personal experiences. And so I think we are doing a great thing here, that we are loosening up a little bit and making it more free for ourselves and for the people who get inspiration from us.
Arta, do you record your sessions with your clients or anybody? Do you guys record?
I'm recording, yeah.
Yeah, I record too.
Yeah, the mentoring sessions I record, not the one-on-one sessions, unless if it's a part of a program.
I recorded group sessions so that people can watch them on replay, but one-on-one sessions I did not so far, but maybe it's a good idea to do that actually. Yeah.
I sent, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also sent the one-on-one to the lady I coached, and I do the group mastermind also. I recorded because that's in my offer that you get this recording. So
yeah, I do both, and then I stop doing them for the one-to-ones for a little bit, but then I give them the option because I find every time that I don't record, like such amazing stuff comes through. Even when I used to do these sessions with everybody, and I would record for the first 30 minutes, and then I would kind of hang on with people afterwards, and all the good stuff seemed to happen after I stopped recording. So I would call it the after party, but then I started recording the after party without the intention of, putting it out there because the content was so good. So there was like this really interesting switch, even if it's just a one-to-one, like if it's not recording, it's like another level of transmission somehow, and how to capture that. Not like the recorded sessions aren't that good. They are, but it's just like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what also helps me is when I do any kind of live stream or video, is to imagine that there's a friend, like my best friend, watching it. So that also helps me. It's suddenly somebody really close to me, so I can be more open and more warm and even more real when I do a live stream, even though I don't know even who is watching me in that moment.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention that this is exactly what Arta is doing, right? She is helping artists to show up in the air, to show up in the internet. And it means also that every creator is an artist somehow, and we have to show up. It refers also to each one of us here, right here. And I think there is a special kind of fear to show up. And I had recently I had a situation when one of the parents from my boy's class was calling me, "Hey, you're a coach. Say something about it." It was about the discussion about misbehavior of my son that was mistreated by the other boy, and there was not a very nice situation. And it was used against me. Right? I didn't react to that. I don't know if I should or I should not. I choose not to react to that, but I know it can be used against me as well. So it's referring a little bit to what Michaela was saying. It's this kind of fear to show up. And I have a question to Arta then, what to do with hate, for example.
I was just thinking about it today, because because I was working on a module for my coaching program, and it's about self-acceptance, so that we can really go big in our business, in our life. So that starts with accepting as I am right now, and also facing the fears. And what I like to do myself is to write down all the fears that could possibly manifest if I reached my big goals and my dreams. And then, this could happen. And some people might criticize me on the internet or somewhere, some friends might get jealous and they might, they will hear about the money that I'm making with my passion. Some of the so-called friends might get jealous. So I like to make a whole list of things that could happen. And some of them are irrational and just my mind chatter talking, which is not even important. But some of them are things that could really happen, but they are not a big deal. So, okay, somebody will tell me something in a school or make a comment, but when I accept myself and I know the impact I make, I know the lives that I'm changing, I know the amazing work that I'm doing, then it's okay. But I think it's good to go through that list, what is bothering me, in case I will get the success that I want. Just to be ready for it, just not to be like very surprised when somebody is jealous or whatever. Just be ready for it and still understand that no amount of any opinions or negative comment or whatever is worth of me not taking the action steps today towards my amazing impact and success. What one comment, one idea about me from the outside, does it matter? Really, if I can live my dream life.
Isn't it about react versus respond? So I think when I get from my boyfriend, so we have really different opinions about several topics, because yeah, it's not so necessary to know right now, but we have this discussion somehow. And I really noticed over the time that I even I don't react anymore. I really hear this, what he's telling, and I somehow, when I get this trigger inside, I listen to myself and say, okay, it's interesting, that topic right now is triggering me. What's this kind with me? What is this one with me? Because he has his own opinion, and I don't want to change it. I don't want to change him. I can change myself. So right now I'm on this way that I said, oh, it's interesting, that's triggering me. What's about me? What could I change in my opinions that this don't trigger me anymore? And even when there is, like Camilla said, a thing that people are telling me or making a note under a post or something like that. This work is for the people they love my work. It's not for the people they have no time, have so much time that I do such things, and that's, they are the ones that need help somehow, and they have their own opinion, and it's okay, but they don't have to listen to me if they don't like it, and they can go. So you can invite the people, when you have it in your masterclass, you invite the people to go, because you even don't want to work with such people, and to become discouraged to say, I want to work with people that love my work, and not to even, it's okay to ask critic and questions, that could be interesting if it is respectful, in a respectful way, when they ask something, but if you feel they want to beat you up or something like that, you can say, okay, there's the button, you can go out of the webinar if you don't want. It's your free time, it's your decision, you can go.
Yeah, I think it's very much about acceptance of that we have our own opinion and other people have right to have their own opinions. And all of them are equal. We don't have to interact with each other. This is it. And well, in case of this guy, I cannot simply press the button quit or leave or remove or something like that, because our kids are together in one class, so it's not so easy. But I'm happy how low is my reaction, so it doesn't piss me off and it doesn't boil me. Yeah. And on the other side, I'm happy that he's saying something like that, because it means I'm visible. So maybe I should thank him, but I'm afraid I would piss him off more. But yeah, it's very, very much about responding versus reacting. The point is that I think we should do that automatically. Respond instead of react automatically. So it means it has to be seeded, it has to be planted somewhere very deeply in our consciousness, or rather unconsciousness.
I think it's also good to see the positive. So when we get visible, when we get more visible, we might have some comments here and there, wherever, but we also get a lot of positive attention when we get visible. So I notice it when I talk about the work with my friends, with some new acquaintances. Just on a Friday evening in a bar, I had like 1 hour conversation about my work, because I'm excited to share about it, you know? So you have some people always who are skeptical or whatever, but there are also, with visibility, there comes also a lot of positive, empowering attention.
It's what you said, Camilla. I relate to it as a parent, because sometimes, you know, you get to hear that, but you're a psychologist, you're a life coach, you know, and that you should know about this. It's like as if we had everything figured out with our kids, or as if our kids don't have the right to be themselves or to misbehave every now and then like normal kids, because their one of their parents is a coach or a psychologist. So these types of expectations and communication I sometimes get from people, which annoys me for a second, because I'm like, but this is such a unrealistic expectation from people from that their job is in the helping profession. But okay, as you say, I just process it real quickly in my head, and I just let it go. I respond. I never react to these sorts of things, because I'm not here to change anybody's opinion, you know, or get into any type of argument with these views or beliefs. So yeah, and it doesn't get to me anymore, whereas in the past it used to get to me, and I would find myself explaining certain things, but I don't do that anymore.
I have a trick for that I use for myself. If something happens, like even with like a stranger, and you're like, you can get riled up really easily, or you know, I start ruminating on something, and then I pause, and I can do this pretty quickly now. I go, how will I feel about this, like 3 days from now or a week from now, and it won't even be an issue. And so I'm able to move past it really quickly, because if I'm not going to care about it 3 days from now or a week from now, it's not going to even, I'm not even going to remember about it months from now. Why am I stressing about it in this moment? It's not going to matter to me. And then I'm able to move on from it very quickly. It works every single time.
Yeah, like knowing, I mean, not caring about other people's opinion, especially with things that you know really resonates with you, and you have every right to feel or do as you do. And on top of that, not caring for other people's opinion is a really empowering uh, state, really empowering, and like really stepping into your own power. For me, that's like, wow, to
It's
be able
funny.
to do that.
I sometimes hear it since I started becoming a coach myself, and like since I had started empowering myself over the last 3-4 years, I sometimes hear, "Oh, Arta, are you also human? I didn't know you're also human," because I tend to have this response versus react. I have it, you know, I got it somehow in my life. I see enormous benefits from being in charge of emotions and and being present and grounded. So I'm becoming more calm and calm and calm as every day. And sometimes people ask me, "Oh, you're also human," when they notice like a little emotion in me or a little bit of reaction suddenly in once in 3 months maybe. So this is funny. I also heard it from my client. "Oh, Arta, you're a human too." It's funny.
I'm laughing with Brie because should we wrap up? And I'm like, you do it. You're good at it.
I have to get the phone. I actually have to go.
Oh, somebody
Yeah.
else.
I'm gonna say
Bye,
goodbye.
guys. See you
Bye,
next day.
bye,
Sign
guys.
up
Bye
and
bye.
don't lose any.
Yes. Take care. Bye bye.